Welcome to the
Florida
Laugh and
is a
Run
shithole.
podcast. Well, we're back yet again, gang. We're gonna be having more consistent content coming soon, so that's really exciting. For those of you who have watched, thanks. We appreciate you watching. And if you're new, welcome. I hope you like this. The whole point of this show is to bring people together through laughter and running, and that's what we're doing. Also, coincidentally, I'm a stand-up comic. I do my Laugh and Run show on the road. We do a free All Paces Welcome group run before the show, and then we do the stand-up show. It's a lot of fun, and they've been going great. I've done them in, Ken, you know, I've done them in Michigan, Maine, Pennsylvania, New York. Like, it's gone good. The other week, I was in Florida. Did not go good. Don't know if I'm ever going back there. I also
do tell.
All right, so first of all, let me say
Where in Florida?
You're right. So it's Clearwater, Florida, and St. Pete's, Florida.
Okay.
I want to start off by saying the comedy club there, the owner Kenny, he is an awesome dude. The clubs are great. They're newer. I'm learning because this is my first time really doing the road, and that was not the market for me to do this. Also, when Kenny and I booked the show, we didn't know it was Mother's Day weekend. That's when we did it.
Potentially could have been great.
Yeah.
Also could have been terrible.
Well, the other thing is, like, it was just like a perfect storm of it not succeeding, pouring rain the whole time, especially the Sunday show. It was bad. But so what I've learned is I need to be more dialed in with the markets. I love running clubs in communities, and we're starting now to do these Zoom calls with some really awesome clubs coming up that are really big staples in their community. Some are very like community people driven. Some are a little bit more on the elite side, but it's going to be really awesome conversations across the board. And we're going to be doing some of them through Zoom just because we can't have everybody in studio. Still going to do the in-studio stuff. This is my favorite thing to do. But yeah, with that said, Florida dude, like, had a lot of good lessons, but Florida is wild. At the hotel I was staying at, I swear to God,
There's a reason why it's Spring Break Central.
Wow. Yeah. Where the hotel I was staying at, there was like a little stream. There was a fence on the stream and then a sign. And the sign legitimately said, and this isn't a joke, do not feed or molest the alligators.
Molest.
Nelson, have you ever tried to molest an alligator?
No. Actively, no.
All right. Ken, have you ever tried? Who's doing that?
I mean, yeah, but like, why would they put a sign about that and put it out there in the open? Like,
So it's had to have happened enough for someone in Florida to go, we got to make a fucking sign.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I do that with the bedroom door closed, like, why? I'll do it in public.
did you just admit to a molesting thing?
No, I'm just kidding.
You did go to a fraternity.
I feel like the only person that has ever molested an alligator, R.I.P., Steve Irwin.
Oh. Jesus Christ, this is off the rails already. All right. Oh, man. Oh, man.
Have you ever seen that South Park episode with him? And he's
With
like
Steve
trying
Irwin?
to get his thumb up the alligator's bum.
No, I've
He's
never.
like, oh, hey, Crocky, I gotta get my thumb right on up his bum. They're poking fun of Steve Irwin, but basically, their version of him is always trying to get his thumb up an animal's bum.
Oh, God.
Yeah, doesn't matter
Jeez.
what the animal was. He's always trying to fight to get his thumb up there.
On that note.
Hey,
God
yo, what the
Yeah. That's nuts, man.
We can cut that.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have to cut so much. I like when we're more unhinged. Yeah, never mind. I'll say it off. Yeah. But yeah, it's all right. But so the point is, like, we're starting to talk more to these running communities. I'm really excited about that because I really love the running community as a whole, as we've talked about. I grew up in it. Like, I spent weekends. If I wasn't at a cross country race or track race for school, I was at a local road race. And so the running community means everything to me. And it is literally like what I grew up in, and I love it so much. And that's why I feel like these shows are working, and this show is gaining some traction because it's just really authentic. And
Yeah.
so I'm excited. And you lived in Virginia Beach. What was the running culture like in there? Because just for
Yeah.
context for people, it's Virginia Beach is awesome. It's kind of a weird, like, you have a vacation culture. You
It's
have
very transient
You-
population.
right. You have a huge military culture. Like it's
Yeah. Yeah. It's people are always like coming and going because, yeah, like you said, it's people are vacationing there, especially in the summertime, but just year round, there's a huge military presence. I mean, there's a base for every, service in the military, but yeah, so those folks are always coming and leaving. So, I mean, the running scene is always consistent, but it's different faces, just about every week, or every month, I should say.
and I imagine that would help. Like, so I guess there's two different types of running cultures, like mainly. Like there's subsets of these two that I'm gonna say,
Mhm.
but the one culture is the one that I think is more prevalent, at least in this country, which is like that community driven feel, the mom and pop feel. It's
Yeah.
not necessarily mom and pop, but like there's a variety of different ages, people, all of these things. Some people are just out because they want to get out and just run a 5K and be their best self. Some people might take that a little more seriously and they're part of the group,
Mhm.
but it's not like there isn't an elitism vibe to it.
No.
That is, I think, the more dominant vibe of running culture. But then the other culture would be this more, we're training seriously. Like, and you see that more in like bigger cities, right?
Totally. Yeah.
These are teams that maybe are not professional, or they are professional, but if they're not, they're still going to cross country club nationals, and their goal is to make like top 10
Mhm.
in the nation in that race. So like they're taking it seriously.
Yeah. And I would say like where I am from, it's a mixture of the two
Okay.
because it's such a mixed bag of people and they're always coming and going. So like you get people from all over the country. You know, if they're in the military, you could get some people from, like New York City, Chicago, or even like super rural parts of the country, somewhere in, like Missoula, Montana, or, somewhere in Arkansas.
Right.
Somebody could be from. So like, yeah, I mean, you kind of see that in the Virginia Beach area of all of those like little different personalities of where they came from, of how they perceive the run group should be, of like, this should be for more serious runners, and like and that's kind of is fun too in a way, because you have all of these different pace groups that you can like partner up with, and like the first pace group could be those like super elitist people that are trying to train and go really fast, and then you have the people in the back that are just wanting to be there, just getting out for just time on feet. And that's what I like the most about where I grew up, and the run groups that I was members of back in the day down there. It's just
With the more serious side of things, I feel like I've observed, let's say, if it is a transient place, it's harder for them to be a super dialed in serious group, though,
Mhm.
because people are constantly coming and going. So you can't get
Yeah.
really consistent plans or training
totally.
at like a high level. So then that does sort of naturally turn into a more community thing. Not
Yeah.
saying that the people that are running can't be serious or aren't,
Right.
but I
you
think
need consistency is key.
yeah,
Yeah.
and there's a difference, I think, in between you and I are from, New York, and we're serious runners, and we're moving to Virginia Beach for this job. And while we're there, we are going to train and be part of this group. And like, yeah, maybe we even want to go to cross nationals and run a race and do well. But ultimately, we're not there to be like focused and serious about it,
Totally.
right?
Yeah.
As where like, if you go to like, I'm just throwing this off at the top of my head, but like in North Carolina, Zap Endurance Fitness, if you're there, you are there to train, and you are like committed to that group.
With a name like that, I would imagine so.
Yeah. Or even like, one of the people we're going to be interviewing with, he actually used to coach me when I lived in Texas. Jeffrey Cunningham, legendary coach, like awesome guy. He currently is the head of Bat City Track Club in Austin, Texas. That is a group that, I mean, Jeff is an amazing guy because he is very versatile in his coaching, where he can coach the most elite people, but also more like if you're new to it, you're not going to be intimidated by him. He's a great guy. But ultimately, like that group is that more like results driven group. But I don't think they're even sponsored by anybody, which is cool.
Yeah.
But the people he coaches and the people that come out of that group, minus myself, are intense. So, in their results. But it's interesting because, again, like just doing this show, going on the road, like working with Run GR, which is the biggest running club community in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Runaways Run Club in Portland, Maine. Again, same vibe. Like that is the vibe that I like more because it's big. It's like hundreds of members and very community driven. Again, people can be serious about their racing, can be serious about the group, but there is this more welcoming sense. Doesn't feel like there's an elitism component to it.
Yeah.
And
I feel like running groups have in the past decade made a shift into being more community driven, groups. And that shift is for the better in my mind, of sort of taking that stigma away of it. Like these run groups are only for like the elite fast runners, and being more community oriented and presenting themselves in a light of saying, hey, we're for everybody. I like that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like the average Joe who is just out there to run just to stay in shape, or like I call myself a hobby jogger. I'm not necessarily at the front of the pack. I just want to be there to go get some miles, have some good conversation while I'm doing so, and be with a like-minded group of people that all want the same thing.
Yeah, for sure. It's interesting, like talking about how I think it has grown in that sense, like you said, and for the better, over the past couple of years. I think there is a huge intimidation factor still, that like if you invite somebody out to a group run, even if it's not, an intense group, there is this, if you're new to that world, it can be intimidating. And that's the thing, is like it is a very welcoming space. Like my one friend, I ran with her at Iona when I was there, and she's great, but she was like really nervous for a long time post college about like running with a group. And she's like, I just want to be a person. And she finally found a group where she lives in Connecticut, and she's like having so much fun with it. And it skews a little older, but like she can just relax and enjoy training and enjoy the thought of like going out and racing again. And that's what I think is beautiful. And that's where I think like running is going. Because as you know, like running has been growing in this country the past couple of years, and we are kind of the dominant running space in the world, not necessarily in results, but just in like the amount of people that do it. Like
it's very approachable for everybody. It's cheap. All you need is a pair of shoes.
Exactly.
And you should wear clothes while you're doing it, but like, you really just need a pair of shoes. It's not like cycling where you need a bike and pedals, shoes to clip into them, and the outfit and all the whole 9 yards. Like it only costs a pair of shoes with those price increases. I mean, you're only looking at $140 for a pair of shoes,
Yeah. Or so
whereas
around
you're
that.
looking around $1,200 for a bicycle.
Yeah. Exactly. And so where this show fits in, and where what I'm building with Laugh and Run fits in, and especially with the show, tell me if you disagree, but I view this as like, I want everybody to enjoy all of the work that we're building, whether it's content or live events or anything. But I think that the space that this will likely live in is going to be that majority of people who just want to go out and run and be a better version of themselves. Because even though like I've competed at high levels at different points in my life, but I started when I was really, really bad in the middle of nowhere, just running with people and like falling in love with it in that lens. that's a really positive lens. Those are also the people that I think understand the value of running in a deeper sense, because maybe you're not winning. You're not winning and the results aren't the driving factor. What is driving you?
Right.
It's the love of it, or the love of community,
Yeah.
and the love of what it does for you connecting with other people. And that's what I think.
Or just even simply the accountability.
Yeah, for sure.
That you get with, your friends doing the same.
Yeah. And I think that what we're doing here at this show, what I'm doing with the live shows and other things that I'm working on, I think that is the community that this will really speak to. I think that sometimes with like elite groups, like really serious runners, they don't understand and they can't relate to
No, they don't.
the average person. And that also goes with comedy, because comedy, it's for, comedy is not prestigious. It's not this, I mean, in my opinion, it's not this like, if you're an elite, you're going to identify less with the humor, because humor is inherently, there's always going to be a victim to a joke, and to, basically it's going to be making fun of something in some way or some capacity. And
right.
like most people in the running world, like from groups that I've worked with so far, understand like you can make fun of things and still love them and value them.
Totally.
And I think people with that more elitism mindset, or a more like the people that are like, how does my outfit look before I go for a run?
Oh,
like,
gosh.
they're not gonna understand
No.
what the most of the country runs for and why they run, and what resonates with the running community.
Yeah, we're not doing it for the likes.
No, right, exactly. Well,
you say, well,
in some ways we are, but it's,
yeah.
but I mean, I could be, but do you get what I'm saying? Like, do you think what I'm saying makes sense? Like,
no, it totally makes sense.
I think
like the majority of people are out there to be out there for the enjoyment of running and for the enjoyment of the community, and they have like the accountability with their friends that are also showing up to do the same thing, but they're doing it for themselves, to make themselves feel better, to make themselves like, fitter or what have you. Cause like running is so transformative in that it like can make your mood better. It can make you healthier, physically healthier, mentally healthier. I mean, like it's just such a powerful thing that we can do as humans to just improve our overall well-being, that like a lot of people are coming to understand that it's not just about running a sub 20-minute 5K.
Right.
Like we just need to be out there to just be there.
Yeah. And those same people, I also think there's a greater percentage of that group that's going to understand the comedy and the content and the connection that we're building. So I'm excited about it. I also I'm just excited that seems to be where running is going. I mean, you even see brands, not all, but some, moving away from certain elitism vibes that they used to put out. And I think that's good. It gets back to that joke of mine that you like about, what you know my jokes better than I do. The slogans kind of discourage people from running,
because it's very true though.
Yeah.
I mean, like, some of those marketing slogans where they want to sound like, it's like we're serious.
We're holding you responsible.
Yeah, like we're gonna make you
no days
faster.
off.
Yeah,
go out and grind.
Yeah, and it's just like the average person kind of gets turned off.
Yeah, like
from that, hardcore aggressive nature.
Yeah, like I know it makes me think of a figure. David Goggins. You know who that guy is?
It's the name sounds really familiar.
There is a place for him. I don't dislike him or anything. So basically, from my understanding of him is
is
like,
he the
he just does like insane ultras, and he's very stop
the army dude.
Yeah,
right?
and he's it's a very army mentality. It's like quit your whining, quit your bullshit, go out and do this. And I think a lot of people in this world need that. And I even think there are people in the running community that do need that. But I think that translates really well to maybe a middle schooler or a high schooler who is I remember some of my teammates, and they weren't there because they were super serious about running or anything. They just needed some structure and discipline.
Right.
And I think that mindset, that reinforcement's really good for them, because it's like, hey, you could actually, like, running is not like soccer. Like, your room for potential is extremely influenced by how hard you work. Are you going out? Are you running? How much core are you doing a week? What's your stretching routine? Like, if you put all those things in, you could go from a 19-minute 5K runner to a 17-minute 5K runner. And, like, yeah, you still might not be winning, but depending on the race you're in, now you might be part of it just because of the work you put in.
Well, you bring up a good point, though, is that, like, I mean, sports just in general are such a great tool for younger kids to be able to do, to kind of like make them better, like, rounder people as a whole. Because, like, doing sports, going to practices, doing the drills, like, that's all putting you in a routine, and you're getting used to doing a routine. And you can see, like, okay, by, like, doing these soccer drills, like with dribbling, like that, I can see how I get better when I'm playing the game and, like, I'm on the field. And, like, doing these sprints, like, makes me faster for when I'm running, like, the 5K, like, last 0.1 in the 5K. So, like, to your point, like, you can see, like, going from a 20-minute 5K to a 17-minute 5K, but that's also, that kid can also go from a C student to an A student, because they're in that mindset of that routine. They know that, like, by doing those drills, it's going to help them on the field, but by doing their homework and by doing, like, going to tutoring, that's going to help them in the classroom. And, like, yeah, just overall, like, yeah, sports are great for that. And
I went to school most days in middle school and high school fairly happy, because I'm like, I have practice after, and, like,
Right.
that's good. And then as I kept going in it, that passion grew more and more. But so, like, that David Goggins, like, quit your bullshit discipline thing, I think that works really well for some. But I do think that it is missing the point as well when you get into adulthood with runners. Maybe some people need that discipline and accountability. I'm not discrediting that, but I do think there's an element of, like, love and fun and community that's getting missed in that mindset. You know what I mean? Like,
Totally.
I think kind of everything we've said already today, like, there's a lot of people that it is just getting a little bit of betterment. Like, hey, if maybe you don't want to go run a 10K, if you go out and run a 5K, you still move 5K's worth of distance.
Right. A mile's a mile.
A mile's a
It doesn't
mile.
matter how fast you're going.
And that should be celebrated. And, like, yes, you should. Being disciplined is good, and it depends on what your goal is. But at the same time, I'm somebody who gets obsessive, and, like, it's like, don't water down how awesome this is because of this goal, and, like, or the obsession to be disciplined. At the same time as well, if you're truly injured, don't run through, like, get fixed, figure out what's wrong, keep doing other things, go swimming, do something. But, like,
my nipple touched the mic there. Hope that didn't.
Oh, I hope it did. All right,
it's a mess.
That's all right.
Clip
He's
it.
editing. Clip it. Hold on.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
It's gonna be really funny later when it play
I
it.
trust you on that one.
But yeah, so basically, I feel like last year, setting the building blocks up of, like, getting this studio show going with you involved. And then the past 5 months have been me doing the road and building up those different communities and learning things that work and don't work. And the Florida shows were examples of things that needed to be better and maybe didn't work. And, like, thinking about the different markets I'm going to. And I was just so excited to be doing the road and doing this show. I wasn't really thinking about, but will it work here? And what's, like, the connection like, and what's the advertising like, and the marketing like, and so that's what I've learned. Well, that's what I have kind of derived from that weekend. And so now I'm thinking about, like, how do we ingrain ourselves more in the running community? And I'm really excited to be doing these conversations with these different run clubs and keep this studio show going too, and having awesome guests like we've had so far. And I think that it'll just keep growing and growing, or at least I hope.
But it'll be cool to talk to people from all over the country of all these different run groups, because you kind of, like, struck a chord here at the beginning with talking about, like, the differences from where I grew up and where you grew up. Is everywhere in the country is completely different, and everywhere in the country has got different people, and so like all of these run crews are probably very different,
vibes.
with just with who attends them and what the general mentality is
Yeah, and
through them.
I'm excited to do
Different
these.
communities.
Yeah, and I'm excited to do these interviews for two different reasons. And the first is that I really love the running community, and I want to showcase these different groups because I don't
Totally.
know any show that's interviewing all of these different communities and doing kind of the things we're doing
Mhm.
in the way we're doing it. So that excites me.
Got to make them uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, well that's just my sense of humor, but but for real though, like giving these clubs a platform
Yeah.
that they can put their message out to the world and they can reach different communities and places, help spread the love of running, but also reach their own community as well. Of like the show I did in Maine, someone had just moved to the area, heard about my show, was like, I want to meet the run group because I'm new to the area. And then they came and like joined the group through that.
Totally.
Beautiful. And hopefully this show will keep doing that. That's the first reason. And then the second reason is for Laugh and Run. Like my goal is to grow these relationships and figure out like, where does this show make sense? Maybe it doesn't make sense in St. Pete's, Florida. That was just maybe it was just a bad weekend.
Could have been a fluke.
Could have been a fluke. Maybe it'll make sense in the future. But if we start talking to run clubs that like, really get hyped and excited about this idea and understand the benefit and the value, then that's where I want to go and like do the run with that group and do the show for their community and bring others in. It's not just their community. We're bringing other people in so they can be part of your community. They can be part of Laugh and Run. And just if hopefully they think I'm funny. The whole thing hinges on if I'm funny. So if I'm not, we are fucked.
I'm sure they will, but I mean, it's getting people together, and it's for the better.
Yeah.
Of improving our well-being, getting moving.
For sure.
Something everybody needs to do.
And the other thing, like right now, like you can't put the cart before the whole horse. Right now, the two things that are driving at least this year.
That's what Enzo Ferrari say too.
Who's that?
The guy who founded Ferrari.
Oh,
yeah. He used to say the ox pulls the cart. That's why you would have the engine in front of the car. You wouldn't have it. That was around the time when they were thinking about where to put the engine in the car. You could put it behind the driver or in front of the driver. And Enzo Ferrari would say, well, the ox pulls the cart. So why would you put the engine behind the driver?
Yeah. Well, it's a good way to think because right now the thought for this year is like, okay, build this content, try to build some following. Like last year we were just figuring out what it looks like, what it sounds like. This year is make those connections, build this content and build these communities and do that through the content and do that through the live shows. But then, in the years, like that's not where the buck stops. Like I'm not just going to stop there with those things. Like moving forward, it'll be like, okay, like how can we're having fun doing the content. We're having fun doing these shows and these communities are enjoying it. How can we further help them and benefit them? Is it putting on a race in their community? Is it giving them resources to different, I don't know. I don't know what it would be, but I'm excited and I don't know if I'm crazy, but I feel really hopeful and I really believe in everything we're doing. So
yeah, it'll be interesting. Yeah, I'm just interested in learning about different parts of the country and what running is like in Little Rock, Arkansas, versus New York City, or just different parts of the world, different parts of the country.
It's also funny because the other thing is like because we've both been in this industry, so you just meet people and you know people. But I've had sort of like. I haven't worked with just one brand or haven't done like just this and that. Like I've been in a different place. I know the race director who puts on the Little Rock, Arkansas Marathon.
She would pull that completely out of
I know,
nowhere.
but you just made a light go off in my head where I'm like, oh, I didn't even think of that. Like that, she would be awesome to talk to if she's willing to come on. So like we'll keep going and we'll just keep trying to build and we'll see what happens.
Right on.
All right. Well, Nelson, how far are we in, my man?
30.
How many state capitals have a double letter?
I fucking want to kill myself. I don't know.
Because
On-
Little
on that
Little
note-
Rock,
on that-
Arkansas
on
is
that-
one of them.
On that note, I'm leaving. Follow me on Instagram, Tommy Laugh Run. Follow Laughing Run Productions. Subscribe to our YouTube. It's all free content. Ken, you asked that bullshit question. I'm leaving. Ken, you close out the episode.
Little Rock, Arkansas
Hey, yo,
is
what the
one.
fuck?
Annapolis, Maryland is another. You can't forget Tallahassee, Florida, because we were just talking about that. And Cheyenne, Wyoming, Pierre, North Dakota. And I feel like I'm missing one more, but we'll leave it there. Real talk. It was a pub quiz question, and we it was one of those ones that was like for extra points.